Hello. Today we'll be installing a Linux-based operating system, in this case Fedora. If you'd like to install any other Linux-based operating system, then you can follow the steps that I'm about to give, and it will work very similar to the Fedora install that I'm about to do. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to get a disk to boot Fedora from. So what you want to do is you want to go to the fedoraproject.org website. You want to click download. You want to click download now. This will give you the ISO to burn to a disk so that you can boot your PC from a Fedora Live so that you can install it. In this case, I'm not going to download it because I already have it, but all of you should. After that, you need to burn it to disk, which I'm going to assume you know how to do. And then, after you're done burning it to disk, you need to boot your computer from the disk, which I'm also going to assume you know how to do. I'm going to be using a virtual machine to do this installation, but it will look just the same after I boot it. So you're going to get a screen that looks a lot like this. You can do one of two things. You can either wait on it to start, or you can click the enter button. And this is the loading screen. So on some computers it may take a few minutes, and on others it will not take very long at all. My computer, that's going to go very fast. Next screen that you'll see is a desktop, which is going to be very similar to your Windows desktop. It's going to have shortcuts, start menu, that kind of thing. In this case, the shortcut that we want is install to hard drive. So you want to double click that, and it'll pull up the Fedora installer. And in this case, you're going to use US English as your language because that'll be your language. Now here's the interesting part. You need to make sure you're using basic storage devices because that is what includes your hard drive. Specialized storage devices is like a network install of your operating system, which isn't something that you want to do right now. So you want to choose basic storage devices and hit next. This is a warning that says that you may lose any data if you're not very careful. So you want to click the yes, discard any data. You may not discard data, but you could, which is what this warning is for. Now you want to choose your computer's name. In this case, I'm going to call it Fedora 2 because I already have one and I'm not going to be keeping this machine for too long. But if you are actually going to be using this machine, you want to call it something a little less generic. Choose next. And then you want to choose your time zone. In this case, I'm going to use New York, which is Eastern Time. Now this is your root password. You need to make sure that you keep this password no matter what. You will need it to install software, things like that. It will also warn you if you have a weak password. So if this warning comes up, you may think about choosing a stronger password. Now here's the interesting part. You need to make sure what is on your hard drive. So if you want something that's on your hard drive, you probably want the shrink current system, which will just take the partition that's on your hard drive and shrink it. You can also use free space, which would mean that your partition is not your entire hard drive, so it will create a partition beside the partition that already exists. In this case, I'm going to use all space because I don't have anything on this hard drive. You can also encrypt your system here if you have anything you think needs encrypted, but most people will not need that. This is just a warning saying that you're going to delete anything that's already on your hard drive if you use this option. I know that, so I'm going to go ahead and click yes. And at this point, it's going to take a few minutes because it's actually installing your hard drive. So I'm going to pause this recording. Anyway, now that that's done with, sorry about that, mine actually crashed. But you should get a screen that looks something like this, And then what you want to do is you want to click forward. You want to read this, make sure you agree with it. And then you can also choose to synchronize time over the network. I'm not going to because it's not really important for me. And now you want to enter a name. I'm not going to actually enter my name, but my username. So then you need to enter your username, which probably should not be your name. Then you want to add them to the administrators group. Enter a password. And this will also tell you whether or not it's a weak password. And ignore the next two buttons. You don't want to use those right now unless you learn more about Linux. And you want to click forward after that. And then you can either send your hardware profile or don't. It just gives the Fedora project information about your particular computer, how to make it, and they use it to make Fedora better. I'm not going to send it because I've sent multiple from this computer. And then if you don't consider doing it, then it's going to ask you to reconsider. I'm going to say no, still don't. And then it should bring you to your username. And there you have it. All you have to do is log in. And then you have a fully working Fedora computer. And it's going to give you a first start. I'm going to use the default config. There you have it. Fully working Linux operating system. Thanks for watching.